Okay, hello and welcome to today's studio armor review. I'm going to go over my infantry of my Tau army, kind of, go through how I use them or what I don't use, why I use what, how I build them out, just to give you a feel for options when using a Tau army. And hopefully if you face a Tau army with some of these units, you might have an idea of what to expect coming from them. Obviously, you got to start with an HQ. Unless you go on unbound list, but the quintessential HQ is the Ethereal, and I do have one model. Built this from a Empire Mage kit from a Warhammer Fantasy. I've got this model in a model showcase video on the site already, so take a look at that and see how I actually went about doing it. I very rarely take an Ethereal. I prefer the Commander. Almost every battle. Once I get above 2,000, I might consider an Ethereal. Or if I do go with any type of fire base that has Fire Warriors or Recruit in it, is my lure, I might want to put a Ethereal there. The problem is with it giving up one victory point in kill point games, it's just really kind of risky. But I wanted to make the model, and that's really why I have it, is because I build my units primarily based on the interest I have in actually building the unit. So I wanted to build this Ethereal, so I went ahead and did it. Prior to that, I didn't really use an Ethereal. Next, I have my version of Darkstrider. A Darkstrider here is a conversion I made using the commander from a Tau tank kit. Whether it's a Devilfish or a Hammerhead, it comes with this commander kit. And I was able to build him, use a little bit of green stuff to create the eye piece for his analyzer, structural analyzer. Now I like Darkstrider as an HQ except for his point cost. He's 100 points and that's very expensive. But he does give two distinct advantages to the unit he joins. One is the unit he joins, if it doesn't already have it, can outflank because he does give Scout, I believe it's Scout, to his unit. Outflanking a unit of Fire Warriors can be pretty nasty. He can only join Fire Warriors in Pathfinder squads, so yeah, you are limited in what you can join. But if he does join a Pathfinder squad, one of the neat things about it is they get an extra, basically D3 of we call it retreat. They get to actually retreat D3. I think it's D6 inches maybe. Or D3 inches after the Overwatch. So they'll be able to hopefully knock out a couple enemy models and then increase the distance to make the charge harder. But that's the other advantage he has. Haven't used that yet, at least not anything. I haven't been charged where I've been able to use that. He is a good, solid buff type of an HQ because when he is in, going up against anything that's like a strength or has a higher toughness, his structural analyzer drops that down one. So now monstrous creatures generally with toughness 6, now they're toughness 5, and so your strength 5 weapons can do damage half the time instead of 1/3 of the time. So he does have some good things to offer. But typically I do use a commander, but I have played with Darkstrider occasionally. Of course, you can't have a real good Tau army without the requisite Fire Warriors. Now I tend to run a full-sized squad of 12. I kind of like the 7th edition. They dropped it down to a min of 5 instead of 6 because 45 point minimum HQ is nice instead of having a 54 or 60 like it used to be. I noticed in some of the more recent codexes, some of the cheaper troop choices that are available are down below 50 points or real close to 50. So having a sub 50 point choice for that mandatory mandatory troop unit in a allied or combined arms detachment really kind of opens up the possibilities. When I do min-max though, I think I will stick with a 6-man squad just to have the bodies to absorb some of the punishment. I do have 2 full squads painted up in my traditional jungle camo. My Tau world it's a lush subtropical type of a planet through a large proportion of it, and so the typical camouflage they use is the same, kind of a jungle green. Now, I almost always, in fact, I very rarely don't have them mounted in a devilfish. So I will put them in with devilfish, and they will, as you'll find out in the vehicles video I'll be doing, they do come. They always come with sensor spines and disruption pods. So it's a heavy investment, 100 points total, but still, it's a great way to protect those fire warriors, and they can move. Figure when you're trying to seize Maelstrom objectives, having that 18-inch movement between going flat out. Actually, it's 24 inches. Going cruising speed plus flat out. It's always nice to have that extra capability to grab with a objective secured type of a unit. So these are the 2 devilfish that come with my 2 squads. Now, the one thing I ended up with after many hours of debate, when I bought a used set of these Tau Fire Warriors, they were mostly unpainted. Actually, I think they were primed gray. And what I thought about doing, actually, they weren't. 3 of the units, actually, sorry, 3 of the models were actually beautifully painted, white with some markings, squad markings already. And the guy did a really good job. I didn't really have the heart to repaint them all. And then I remembered that in the previous 4th edition codex, they used to be an honor guard. So whenever, it was always it was actually like a +1 ballista skill to the honor guard, a slightly more expensive fire warrior, but it was a fire warrior. And so you could buy that as a troop option. So I decided that I was going to go ahead and make this unit that already had 3 models painted white, my fire warrior honor guard for my ethereal. So whenever I bring my ethereal in, he will have an honor guard. So the only thing I did really to the guy's original paint scheme was to add the blue accents, which are my sept color. And then I, of course, had to make a devilfish to match. So that devilfish is their dedicated transport. Drones do pop out. But otherwise it's painted, it's equipped just like my regular devilfish. Okay. Now, I have a very large number of drones. Well, I'm sure there's other generals who have many more drones than I do, but I absolutely love the drones. The concept alone is neat. Having an automaton kind of go around, giving you some type of support. So I've got a total of 12 regular gun drones, and 2 I've painted up. As you see that in the very front, I've got 4 drones with the blue sept color on them. Those are the drones that I have attached to my commander. So I got 2 shield drones and 2 gun drones that way. So those are kind of, they have the status symbol on them of having the sept color go with the commander's sept colors on his equipment. But aside from that, I do have 12 more gun drones, 6 marker drones, and 8 total shield drones. And I don't really use shield drones as much anymore. In larger games, I will use it. In fact, one of my favorite ways to do this is mix 6 marker drones and 6 shield drones, because everyone hates having to work their way through the shield drones to get rid of the marker lights, especially when there is a ballistic skill 5 commander with a drone controller leading that unit, and guaranteeing 6 marker lights on it, whatever he wants to light up. So it definitely keeps the opponent worried about that unit and gives us some real good staying power. Of course, it's a lot of points, so I very, very rarely do it, because only in the bigger games, 2,500 points and larger. My favorite infantry unit for my Tau are all of the Pathfinders. Now, I've got quite a few Pathfinders, actually. If you, I've got 2 kits from the standard Pathfinder kit. One is a collection of units or models from the These are 8 of them from the old metal Pathfinders. And then a small unit, well, small, it's the max size, 10 guys, of what I call Gue'vesa Pathfinders. These are human models, Imperial Guard models, and it comes with their own devilfish. And that devilfish has a special paint job because it has, trying to play in line with the fluff, I looked at the possibilities of what could do different with them. And even in the fluff, the Tau, they don't understand humans and their need to do this, but humans seem to have this need to have mascots in their units or special good luck charms, or they paint their equipment various colors or patterns, whatever, and it seems to help their morale. So the Tau don't question it, they know that it works, so they're going to let them do it. So what I did for this particular devilfish model is humanized it, if you will, gave its name the land, and put a little bit of nose art on the back from B-17, I believe it was a B-17 nose art. So that is just kind of make that devilfish a dedicated transport for that one unit. I don't use it for anything else, and of course I had that concept of having just an all-human unit, and it came out just the way I wanted it to, so I was very pleased. The other Pathfinders, though, I went ahead and bought the extra kits so that when I made my Pathfinders, the Gue'vesa Pathfinders, I was able to just throw the extra weapons on some of the bodies. So all the pulse carbines that would have gone on those Tau Pathfinders went onto the Gue'vesas. So I ended up with being able to put all of the ion rifles and all the rail rifles onto Tau bodies and still come out even. So now I actually basically have ended up with 4 Tau Pathfinder units, 6 men each, with a leader. Each one either has 3 rail rifles or 3 ion rifles. Now, when I run my Tau, I don't use the ion rifle really at all. I have a lot of other ways to throw the strength 7 stuff downrange, but I do use the rail rifles a lot because it's nice to have that AP1 strength 6 sitting in the back to, when I say back, I mean the opponent's back line. I tend to bring these in on outflank, come in from the side or rear, and end up popping vehicles and popping monstrous creatures that have moved up a little too far, and that AP1 really helps. And I don't usually use the Pathfinder's marker light capabilities. Like I said, I got the drones for that. If I need to, I can use marker lights from the Pathfinders, but the Pathfinders are generally there to give extra fire support with their pulse carbines. That's an 18-inch range, 24 if I put that accelerator drone in the squad. 2 shots each, 24-inch range. A full-size squad, that's 20 shots, half of them hitting, and that throws a lot of fire, again, from the side or rear, that just augments what the fire warriors in front are putting out. And of course, if you go against the rear armor of tanks, that's a pretty easy way to pop tank squadrons. Whether they're artillery tanks or frontline battle tanks, that's a good way to knock them out. So that's how I generally tend to use my Pathfinders. Now we'll be putting a Studio Army Tactica video out where I'll talk about the Rignon style of warfare, which is encirclement type of warfare, and I'll kind of walk you through how I go about doing that in my gameplay. So this is a pretty typical types of units. I don't really do much in the way of adding extra abilities to these, except potentially bonding knife rituals. I'll often do that on the Pathfinders because they will get walloped, being only armor 5. And having a squad of 3 fire warriors out of a 12-man team stuck falling back, that's not always a good thing. So bonding knife ritual often helps. For 1 additional point per model, it's really worth it, at least in my opinion. So if I have the room for it, I will definitely increase their capabilities with that 1 upgrade. So that's my infantry, HQ and troop, as well as fast attack. It's how I use them, how I equip them, And if you have any comments, go ahead and put them below. Like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video where I talk through what I call the weapon systems, which is all the suits and all the vehicles that the Tau bring to bear in my army. Alright, catch you then. Bye. Thanks for watching.